welcome back to Urban X TV. Got the black dot here in the building. Shouts out.
Shouts. What's good?
So let's cut to it, man. Last week was a vintage hip hop week, man. It was a really good week for hip hop. For people who claim, they love like real quote unquote real hip hop. It was a really dope week. We had the Verzuz, the Locks versus Dipset, which was incredible.
Yes.
We had Kanye live streaming, the making of his album, the listening party for his new album, Donda, that's coming out. And then Nas dropped King's Disease 2.
Yes.
So let's get into it. What are your thoughts? People were waiting for your thoughts specifically.
Yeah, at first I want to cover the Verzuz since that happened first.
Right.
Kanye preempted with a pre-listening party. That's what we'll call the first one.
Right.
For him. But this Verzuz was monumental on so many levels. I want to get into some of the semantics on why it was such a landslide of a victory for the Locks, which we called.
Right.
The first thing I noticed was the DJ for the Locks. He's the unsung hero. He's the real MVP of this, and a lot of people may have missed the subtleties of what he was doing. First of all, his record selection on the fly when they got into the audibles was amazing.
Right.
But prior to the Locks coming out, he was playing all the New York sets.
Right.
What he was also doing was he was EQing up the sound. You know what I'm saying? Every time he put a record on, you could tell he was getting the sound because the audible is super important. These are the sonics.
Right.
So his sonic boom was prepping the crowd for something monumental. When the other DJ got on, I don't know if that was Dipset's DJ, and he started playing his music, and it was some of the records from the South and this and that, I immediately can feel a drop in the audible. And I'm saying to myself, me being one who's been to many sound checks, I know that that's going to be a problem.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I can also tell that the Locks rehearsed.
Yes.
I can tell that they literally took this serious and they prepared.
Right.
I can tell Dipset did not.
Right.
I can tell the discombobulation of Dipset. I also can tell when Michael Buffer called out the Locks, they came out as a unit. When he called out Dipset, everybody but Cam showed up.
Right. I noticed that immediately.
I noticed it. So come to find out, there was some dissension backstage with them and what they were doing. So automatically you lost. Y'all not moving out here as a unit. I said, and I sent the text to you, I said the Locks came to sound check.
Yeah.
They came to sound check because when they grabbed their mics, they were in full stereo sonic boom. When Dipset grabbed their mics, they sounded terrible. And sounding terrible when you're going to sing over the track makes it double as worse. Just getting through some of the semantics. When you are going to sing over the TV track, as they call it, you never sing over the entire track. Just a little tidbit.
Right.
You throw certain words, certain key phrases you leave on the bottom of the track so that as an artist, you get an opportunity to sneak a breath when you have to, because when you're in the studio recording your song, it's two different things, and sitting in the studio subtle, recording your song, and hitting the stage where the adrenaline is flowing back and forth, and now you need a breath, right? But if you're rhyming over the entire track, that is so un-hip-hop.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, as it was called out by Jadakiss, immediately, like, what are y'all doing? Because it demonstrates, too, some of y'all don't know the words to these songs. Either y'all forgot. I can tell when Diplomatics first got going, Jim Jones didn't know some of the songs. Like, he came along later as an artist. I don't know what Freaky Zeke was doing out there. At all.
He was out there, I think, as moral or hype support.
Yeah, but it's a way that you hype without playing yourself. Just walking around acting crazy. If you're gonna hype, you stand there and you get in your man's ear and let them know, or you be the one. See, this is another thing. I'm pretty sure Locks had somebody near the DJ telling him, listen, we need this, we need that. I can also tell the Locks had 4 or 5 different sets that they could go into at any given time based on the energy of the crowd.
Right.
We come to find out later, Diddy is the one who suggested that they add a couple of their freestyles to it, because their freestyles.
Yes, that's where a lot of their name, especially in New York, really comes from. Like those mixtapes.
It's the mixtapes. Jada on the mixtapes, really killing it. So, as they began to come out and, everybody's jockeying for position, the minute the Locks came out and started rocking.
Yeah, it was over.
It really was over. I could tell. And then when the Dipset came out, and just off hype alone, we rock with them. When Jadakiss got to the Who Shot Your beat, it literally, it was nothing else really to do at that point. You know what I mean? Because he was demonstrating his ability to grab the mic and do what none of them could do.
Right.
None of them are going to grab a mic and just go off. Sheik Louch or Luch.
Sheik Louch, yeah.
Sheik Louch. I don't know why I keep calling him Sheik Louch. Yeah. Sheik Louch is a better MC than all of them. Right? And he may be, no disrespect, the weaker of the 3. Right? But these are MCs versus rappers.
Right.
Right? And there's a clear distinction.
Right.
MCs can grab the mic, freestyle, and in my humble opinion, if I can get into the mind of Jada probably had a few joints specifically for each one of them, even though it's a verses. So we're doing our classic songs and freestyles. I know I would have had a couple of joints in case this shit goes off the rails. And then I could just turn to this nigga with no teeth and get at this nigga, or get at Cam, or get at Jim Jones and, reality TV shit. So Jada probably has something in the can for all of them if need be.
Right.
Obviously, he didn't need to go there. These guys respect each other. Now, in my book, Hip Hop Decoded, I speak about a situation where I'm sitting down and me and Busy B, Chief Rocker Busy B, one of the greatest entertainers of all time, we just puffing up a L and shit. And he says to me, yo, Black. She used to call me Black. I made Kumo D. And I put the blunt out. I said, wait a minute, Lord. I'm high, but I'm not that high, God. You got smoked in that battle. Mo D smoked you. He said, yeah, you don't understand what I'm saying. Prior to Mo D beating me, people knew of Kumo D from the Treacherous 3.
Right.
But he didn't become iconic in his status until he took me out. So in understanding that concept, I wrote a chapter called Every Hero Needs a Villain in my book, which clearly explains Muhammad Ali needed Joe Frazier. Right? That shit became iconic. The Biggie and Tupac situation was so iconic, you really can't say one without the other.
Right.
Jay-Z was a smart man. So Jay-Z always trying to write himself further and further into history. He knew that he was unmatched in his prime. Like, he had no arch nemesis, no villain. So he manufactured one in Nas. You know what I'm saying? People always was making a comparison. Nas hit a low point, you know what I'm saying? And Jay-Z, tired of all the subliminal shots that had probably been coming in his way. But remember, he said, y'all shall forever remain nameless. I felt that there was power in that.
Right.
In doing that. But he took the bait. Nas was at his low point, dealing with the issue with his moms, this and that. So Jay-Z, off the blueprint in which was his greatest work. You know what I'm saying? Right. I don't think anybody can really argue that. Just Blaze and Kanye and all of the energy coming together, felt this was the time to get at Prodigy, and this is definitely the time to get at Nas. And in doing so, he created a unrivaled match. He created his arch nemesis. Now, the end result, we know Nas. One thing about Virgo, don't push us into a corner. He pushed Nas into a corner. Nas attacked, came back with Ether. We know the whole story there.
Right.
But now, you mentioned Jay-Z and Nas. They have that moment. This was that moment for the LOX. Now we know Beanie went at it with Jadakiss and them,
right.
But this on the world stage with the entire world watching in the Mecca of New York City, the LOX now have that arch rival in Dipset, and it became a very iconic moment.
Yes.
In that sense. So now when we say the LOX, we go, oh, yo, they smoke Dipset.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So now, and even Dipset stock has risen because we think that the so-called loser in a battle takes a hit, and it's not necessarily the case. You are on people's mind. So I say Kumo D, we say Busy B, I say LL, you can say a whole bunch of people, Ice-T, Kumo D, this is one, KRS-One, MC Shan. That put KRS-One on the map. I've heard him say in a lot of battles himself that without no Shan, there is no me. So that was him going against Queens.
Right.
And this motherfucker would go to Queens, no exaggeration, and smoke these niggas in Queens. Kind of shit he was on, right? So we have these iconic moments. Ice Cube versus NWA, and we have them, and they mean something because it gives us, we live in a world of duality, so we have opposition going at each other. So I thought the Dipset's execution was poor.
Yeah.
You know, you could tell they just wasn't on the same page.
Yeah, I feel like you could see that the LOX are all three actually like best friends. Like,
yes,
they each other's kids' uncles. Like, I see you when I see you. Like, you could tell that Dipset rather like they barely see each other.
Right,
they probably don't really talk.
They have internal beef.
Yeah,
but we want to come together to bag and shout out to Cameron because I heard behind the scenes he was fighting to make sure they got a specific bag, not just them and the LOX.
Got it. Okay.
So I heard it was a very one of them kind of things. So it was no animosity between these guys. These guys respect each other.
Right.
But in the spirit of what we call hip hop, that's what hip hop used to be. Let's hit the stage. Another subtle moment that may have people overlooked. Jadakiss was a comedian.
Yes, the stage presence was.
So the stage presence.
Yes.
In between, he was cheating.
Yeah.
So even after they got off, he had a few minutes to kick a few bars of, just chit-chat and this and that. And it was keeping the crowd engaged. And all of that's relevant in a battle.
Right.
Busy B used to kill people before they hit the stage. He'd be like, oh, I'm taking out all bums. You know what it is? He's a bum. He's a bum. Look at his sneakers. He can't win. And he would just smoke these dudes before they even got on stage. And they would get on stage and do their piece. And he would come out and do his call and response. He wasn't the greatest MC. He was the greatest crowd pleaser. He was the greatest entertainer. So when you feel engaged, throw your hands. You got on them Sergio jeans. Let me know if you got more than $5 in your pocket. Is it Virgo? Yeah. Is it Scorpio?
Not like the baby.
Yeah, no, not that shit, right? So what you was getting was, with Busy B, an engagement, but sitting on the side was Kumo D going, all right, enough of this shit. Enough of this shit here. Let me just come out and put an end to it. And he did. You know what I mean? And they close to this day. And he even said, that's why I'm on Mo D's dick. He said that right after the battle. You know what I mean? Because he ain't had no choice. Mo D put that work in. So to see these guys come together after that, one little dark moment when Cam was talking about his guns. And, that was just a dark moment. But it wasn't something that overtook the night. The energy was electric in the crowd. But I could clearly tell that Dipset had just came together. It's like putting the band back together.
Right.
And we going on tour, but we're not going to hit our groove until maybe 5 or 6 shows, and we'll get back in sync when the LOX clearly practiced.
Yeah.
They love each other. They have no egos amongst each other. They all have and play their positions perfectly. And I thought each and every one of them had a moment to shine, including Sheik Luch. They all gave themselves a moment. And then when Jules Santana made a bizarre statement, like, y'all don't have songs for the ladies, on cue,
that was
the
bad.
DJ Tech,
whatever
whatever his name was, went into that Because if you listen to Jadakiss, he kept saying, yo, go into the arson, go into I forget the term he was using, that particular arsenal and get that. So they had things lined up. So they had the ladies set ready and went through 5 and 6 songs. It was really over.
Yeah.
And then they hit this little groove where everybody got a song locked up, came on this. Jadakiss had a moment. Sheek Louch had a moment. And they hit a spontaneous groove that only they could do because their catalog was that extensive. I forgot how many hits that they actually had. People are asking, is Jadakiss the king of New York? He got to be right now.
Mm-hmm.
The undisputed, the people's champ. See, there's the money champ and this, but the people's champ is a different kind of champ.
So there are moments in like sports games where a player is clearly just in the zone.
Yes.
I've seen it in battle rap a couple of times where the rap he's just in the zone where even when he freestyles it just kind of hits. Like Jada was in the zone. You know what I'm saying? Like even when
even his freestyle wasn't perfect.
Right.
He slipped once or twice. And me as an MC, I know. But it just was so iconic, it didn't matter.
Right, like even like during like his monologues, and then the beat, and then the song coming on, like as he was talking his talk,
he was talking that talk, and then the song, and it just so to me the unsung hero was the DJ, who really, while the crowd was getting warmed up, as any good DJ should do.
Right.
If you DJ, you gotta bring this. I know I can get this. And you bring it right to the edge before distortion. When the Dipset DJ, they might have just hired him for that day.
Yeah.
And he just was putting the songs on, but he didn't do a really good job of making sure that all of the stuff was in place. So it's an iconic moment for hip hop that I think was needed coming off all of the craziness. And as we speak about, hip hop, P.O.P., this was clear hip hop in Mecca, the Mecca of the world. And it was so needed at this specific time. So I was glad to see that the Locks really held that down.
Yeah.
So that's my general take on the Dipset battle. Jadakiss was just on another level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he put this on his back and made sure, you know what I mean?
And he's 2-0 in Verzuz. Yeah,
he's 2-0 in Verzuz.
And from the first Verzuz he did, you could tell he prepared for that one too against Fab.
Listen, this is my thing between MCs and rappers. Rappers are relying on the track to carry them. MCs carry the track. Mm-hmm. That's the difference. You know what I mean? These rappers go into the studio, they get a hot beat, they say something hot. That's cool.
Right.
But the beat is pretty much carrying them. Jadakiss, you can put on Impeach the President. Whatever you can just put on some break beats, and he as an MC can carry that. And the subtleties again of his team being rhyming with him.
I was about to say that they all know each other's lyrics.
They know each other's lyrics, so that's how you. If me and you on stage, you know when I need a breath, dude.
Right.
So you carry this piece right here.
Right.
It'll be so seemingly beautiful that people won't even realize that I snuck in a deep breath and got that whoo, and now I'm back because they knew each other's lyrics so well they could do that.
Right.
And those are the subtleties of what MCs do to perform. And if they performing by themselves, they still find little ways when the hook come on. That's why you never sing the hook.
Yeah.
You pretty much let the hook ride, throw your hands in the air, because you have to bring a song to life. It's one thing to be in the studio. It's another thing to animate energy off the stage that's reciprocal by the crowd. And showmanship, funniness, wittiness, the DJ dropping the track. When he brought the damn Who Shot Your Beat back.
Yeah.
See, those are the subtleties. He could have just went through that whole set.
Yeah.
You a dick, your man's pussy, y'all neighbors.
Yeah.
He stopped it and brought the shit back because it was an iconic moment to rev the energy to another level. Now the energy is on a whole nother level. I get to go through the set and I get to really bring that to life. So shout out the Warlocks, as they're technically called.
That's their name, yeah.
Shout out Dipset for Let It Be a Learning Lesson.
Yeah.
You don't lose, you learn.
Yeah, and I think that was a lesson for a lot of young rappers out there as well.
Yes.
Like, there is a clear difference between performing or letting the song do the work, because a lot of these rappers, that's where they get most of their money now anyway.
Right.
So, but they let the song kind of carry them instead of them doing.
It's got to be the other way around. You have to carry that song because I'm paying for that. I can stay home and listen to the fucking album.
Right.
I'm paying to watch you perform. I'm watching breath control, stage presence, unity, how y'all move back and forth. You know what I mean?
Right.
I even saw Sheik Luch pass Styles P another mic in the set.
Yeah.
Like those are the subtle things to know that we a unit. Oh, my man mic is low. Let me handle my mic. So now he back in. And those things they were doing seamlessly.
Right. 3-man weave. Crazy.
It was a 3-man weave.
Yeah.
It was a 3-man weave, and it showed just the MC versus the rapper, which, you know, when I speak about hip-hop, that's what I'm speaking about. And it's nothing against the rapper, but don't step in the ring with MCs.
Right.
Especially MCs who want to prepare.
Definitely.
If it's a battle, you know what I'm saying? I have to be prepared for 5 and 6 different scenarios. So Jadakiss studied their catalog.
Yeah. Because they was even rapping some of that stuff.
Yeah, the Locks was studying their catalog to go, okay, when they dropped this, like when they did the New York joint, Welcome to New York City, I was saying, oh, that was tough.
Yeah.
And then when your man Jada I got 100 guns, 100 clips, I'm from New York.
Yeah.
I said, so they had the chess moves already in place. When they come with that, we're going to come with that. When they come, you know they got that old boy shit.
Yeah.
They're going to, you know what I'm saying, that's going to pop. You know, Ballin' is going to pop. You know what I'm saying, how we going to counter these things to make sure we win the battle. So that's what I got out of that. And again, shout them out because I thought it was really an iconic moment. And now the Locks and Dipset are intertwined forever in hip-hop history.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Big moment.
Big moment. Now, the Nas album.
King's Disease 2.
King's Disease 2 was phenomenal.
I will say this. When I heard the album was coming out, I was nervous. Because anytime a rapper has a great album and then names their next album part 2 to that, I feel like they have a way of ruining it for some reason. You know what I mean?
Yes. That's definitely on the table,
especially back to back at that as well. If they do it like years down the line,
it gives it space to breathe, and then it becomes a little bit more maybe nostalgic to revisit a moment. You doing it back to back, you better bring it.
Yes,
I like part 2 better than I liked part 1.
Okay,
and that says a lot because I thought part 1 was really dope. Nas has not missed a stride. Nas has not compromised his wordplay, his wittiness, his storytelling is still unparalleled. You know what I mean? From the very first track called Pressure. I don't know what this shit is sonically sound like some shit Travis Scott would do. You know what I mean? So Hit Boy really got into, and I thought it set the tone for what the album would become. The Rare joint is crazy. The EPMD homage joint with them on the actual track. I don't care what anybody say. Eminem blacked on that. You know what I'm saying? The joint with Lauryn Hill. Because when I saw Lauryn Hill, I thought, oh, she probably going to be singing on the hook. He got her to come out and give and deliver bars. And she was delivering bars. The Charlie Wilson joint. This is really a cohesive effort by Nas. And whenever you're working with one producer, I like that. You know what I'm saying? Because me and you can challenge each other. We can kind of be in sync with becoming one creative body. And becoming that creative body, it's a synergy of your energy and mine, creating that third energy which only exists on this specific track. And I think King's Disease delivered on that. Nas, one thing, he wasn't stuck. So I even heard him not harmonizing on a few tracks, but his rhyme flow was comparable to today on a few of those tracks.
Yeah.
I peeped that. It wasn't just staying stuck. And because here's the thing. Vintage hip hoppers are very stubborn.
Very. Yes.
Right? It just is what it is. And they hold the codex to the original formula of hip hop, but the world doesn't revolve around hip hop, or it evolves.
Right.
And the vintage hip hop guys, a lot of them don't want to hear nothing beyond that boom bap and what they do. But the music you listen to also represents your mind state and your ability to grow, because consciousness grows when our music grows.
Right.
So when Kanye came on the scene, as we'll talk about him in a few, and began to challenge the formula and mode in which hip hop is done, or what is considered hip hop, it opened up a whole new vortex with Kid Cudi, Drake, Travis Scott, so many other people who are sonically now doing something very different,
right.
but it's still based in, you know, the principles of hip hop.
Right.
And I say that because when we bridge the gap, let's say between Nas's album, which is, let's just say vintage hip hop,
right,
Drake's album, Certified Lover Boy, is going to be hip pop, P-O-P, which is, and Kanye's album is really a variation or stretching the outer boundaries of things.
Right.
So you're going to get three different extremes. I'd even add Kendrick Lamar to this mix. But just using those three, you're going to get three different extremes, three different creative rides that you can go on if you open up your mind.
Right.
If you are just stuck on your boom back, fuck these young dudes, you're missing the point. At one point, what we considered boom bap, our elders didn't respect. What the hell is this stupid shit y'all yelling and talking over, and y'all need 2 records and y'all scratching up my fucking records? It was chaos for them. You know what I mean? It was order for us because we were forging a new paradigm. You know what I mean? That was going to require us to need 2 turntables,
right,
require us to rhyme and flow and do routines and harmonize until it became normal for the next generation as a point of reference,
right,
where they can become creative. And then the 80s came in and we had Rakim. And Rakim was like, you know, he pretty much closed the door on, I'm the king of rock. Yeah. That cadence of rhyme flow, him and Big Daddy Kane and G-Rap and KRS-One, they closed the door on that era. And then from there, we had, you know, the Biggies and the talking flows, and it continues to evolve to now. The undefinable is what Kanye is going to present to you, right? Okay. I watched the movie,
right,
or his performance at the Atlanta Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I was in Atlanta and I started to go. I just didn't want to be around a lot of hippies, no disrespect, you know, little young white boys and shit. Sonically, what he's doing, he's unparalleled. Very few artists can shift the paradigm on a number of occasions with music, art, and fashion. Kanye is about to do it a 3rd time, maybe a 4th. You're lucky as an artist if you change the game once.
Right.
Kanye never settles. I'm not talking about his personal life, because a lot of you guys are not into the music. Y'all into personalities.
Right.
And what that dude out here, Republican, and what the fuck. Like this song, Jesus Lord, featuring Jay Electronica and The Lox, is some of the illest shit I've heard in years. Jay Electronica blacked out on this song. They all ate on this song. And the bottom piece of it is Jesus. That's not my faith.
Right.
But the music is slamming. And if you can't get into the song because it's saying, you know, Jesus, then you have created a limitation in your ability to accept creativity and use it. And now those are your hang-ups. So Kanye's piece, Jay-Z blacked. He has so many different energies that came together, and this is dedicated to his mom's. I didn't know he was born in Atlanta. It's real weird.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was born in Atlanta. You know, his father's a Black Panther. So all of the outbreaks or rebellious things he's done is in the spirit of his father. George Bush doesn't like black people. Taylor Swift, give me that fucking mic. You a piece of shit. You know, just all the things he's done. But when he is in his zone and he decides he wants to create something that's going to shape and shift the tectonic plates of your reality, he has done that. You know what I'm saying? On a number of occasions, and Donda will be no exception. He is back to that shit. You know what I mean? Of course, there was a lot of rituals going on in the building. I know Atlanta's on the 33rd latitude. Jesus died at 33. I told you in my book, him being Kanye, or Khan being king, his last name being West. He's the king of the West. And as a result of that, he embodied what Christ would be, the ultralight beam in which he went out with. This nigga went out on an ultralight beam at the end of the show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we see that he was sitting in a square and people were circling the square. So he was squaring the circle. This shit was weird with the energy, blah, 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 blah. I forget the name of the vortex energy that I'm talking about, when people are spinning in 2 and 3 directions, creating a vortex of a different kind of energy. It'll come to me. The 8-pointed beam of light that came down on him, you know what I'm saying, was different. The creative process of him bringing you into his world with a mattress, some sneakers, a phone. That's all you need to tap into who you are. So he was bringing you into primal energy, away from the studio. The fact that he set up shop and did not leave that location also tells you something. You know what I mean?
For sure.
That he was on an energy grid where that Mercedes Stadium is built at. He was on some form of energy grid to tap in and give him the necessary energy he needed to perfect what it is that he felt he needed to do. And the project is rooted in feminine energy because it's dedicated to his mom's, and you know, the transition of that. So I really think I haven't. Of course, the album comes out, I think, Friday. The official album,
finally
comes out Friday. So it will be an experience. I haven't listened to an 11-minute song that I did not want to end the way I listened to the one with Jada Kiss and Styles and Jay Electronica, and it was very, very moving and touching. There's a couple of songs on there that I really, really like, and I'm pretty sure if he does any visuals the way Kanye does, that this will be a moment in history that you will remember. Once again, it's like it's like he coming back for another shot at the title. And again, I think we'll see something different when Drake drops, because Drake he's got his own audience, and it's a pop audience with hip hop undertones. I think Kanye goes into each and every project not knowing where the project is going to come, but Nas delivered us the classic goods. So hip hop, it's been a great week with the locks, with Nas, with Kanye, with Drake coming after that, and Kendrick Lamar will probably back clean up in this whole situation. So the return of great music could be amongst us.
Dope. Okay.
You know what I mean? So I just wanted to kind of share that piece with the audience. You know, without, you know, the people who rock with us. And you already know what it is. Hit the like button, subscribe. You got any questions?
No.
Like button, subscribe, share. Get that membership, because the price is getting ready to go up. All right? This is the Black Dot. These are my chronicles. This is my story. And I'm sticking to it. Peace.